5, 4, 3. Let's go.
5, 4, 3.
You're not the one
Hello,
recording.
everybody! It's time for Cox and Crendor. Wait, no,
It's
that's not us.
That's
That's not
not
us.
us. Hello, welcome to Video Games and Chill, where we don't
That's us.
just
That's us. That's what we do.
beat the games, we complete them.
That's not us either.
Is that not us?
No, I think we're trying too hard.
Yeah, I think we're trying too hard.
Yeah,
We don't have a strapline though.
we really don't, and I think that's probably a good thing.
Do you reckon?
Yes.
Hello, welcome to Video Games and Chill with
Good
myself.
afternoon. Welcome to Video Games and Chill. Unless it's the morning where you are, in which case, fuck off.
Unless it's the nighttime where you are and you're listening to us to fall asleep to. Which
What the fuck is going on with you, you crazy person? Why would you listen to us of all people?
because it's Video Games and Chill, Dan. It's a nice level to sleep at. Listen,
Okay.
don't make fun of the sleep viewer, because they might just cycle through all our content on Spotify. They might give us views on everything.
They might do.
How are you, Dan?
I'm actually all right. Yeah, it's Sunday. It's the last day. I mean, it's the end of day of your week here. It's the last day of the football season, so I'm looking forward to being disappointed for the next 7 weeks by Newcastle not doing anything in the transfer market. And that's not video games, so we'll move on from that pretty quickly. How are you doing?
I am a little bit hungover, as I think you know.
I was unaware. I thought you were fine.
Oh, I'm fine. You know me. I handle my hangovers fairly well, unless I just tip over and then I'm just gone for the day. But no, it's a Sunday afternoon, and it's a chilled out, slight hangover day.
Oh, yeah, it is actually afternoon, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I forgot that, as per usual, we spent probably longer setting up for this than we are actually going to spend recording. Which, isn't always a bad thing.
No, and we've got big changes. Uh, as you can see, you can't see, Dan, but our lovely viewers can see. This is different, and this is different, and this is different.
This is. Oh, wait, no, this is still the same old shit show that you tune into once
Yeah,
a week because, you need to make sure that we haven't slandered Nintendo too much and you don't want to push the big red button that,
but we still
eject that
appreciate your
button.
view, Reggie.
We do, yes. Why don't you open that bathrobe a little bit more? Yeah, that's nice.
Let's open with what we've been playing, as we usually do.
Yes, what we've been playing, and I believe there's a weird thing about to happen.
Right.
Sam, do you want to start us off with what you've been playing? Because, I know you've been playing a lot more than I have this week, or the last couple of weeks, because I've been busy doing this weird thing called work.
I certainly have, and are you ready for this, Dan? The first ever scene transition. Whoa! We have gameplay. I've been playing Superliminal. You can't see this gameplay. But if you
Here. It's here. Is it there or there?
there, yeah, there.
There. Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
cool.
right. Yeah, you can't see this, but this is actually footage I recorded for my little review. The link to that will be down in the there in the doobity doo. Of Superliminal, and it's a fantastic little puzzle game. It's very Portal-esque in the sense that you've got this one core idea, and it sort of stretches that core idea out over about 3 hours ish.
Is that a pun?
Yeah, I did a funny. Did you like?
I mean, that was purely based on the fact that I watched your stream for about 20 minutes. And I saw that you were doing some weird stretchy, shrinky things.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool, yeah. So the basic thing is that like the world and objects that you interact with change based on your perspective of them. So like if you pick this bottle up and it's over here, it looks bigger when it's closer to you. So then it becomes bigger in the world. So like at its simplest, you're using it to sort of create little platforms and blocks to jump on. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. All I've got in my head is that Father Ted episode. This one is really, really close, and this one is really far away. And that's all I can think of with you doing the bottle thing.
I think, honestly, I think the developer probably just watched that and was like, "There's something in this. We can make a game out of this."
It's a good concept. From what I saw of what you were doing, even though you were stuck on the same puzzle and then realised, oh yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it looks like a fun game, and it's definitely one that's on my list of things to do.
It's so fun. I said in my review that it is only like 3 hours long, and it's about £12-13, something like that. So if you want for like hours played to get your money's worth, then you'll definitely want to wait for a sale on it. But I wouldn't sleep on it. I think
it depends on what your hour is worth. To be fair, I mean, I would quite happily pay 12 or 13 quid for a 3-hour game.
Oh yeah, me too. That's why I'd recommend it so heartily. But I know some people wouldn't.
Yeah, this happened pretty much the day of recording the last episode, because I remember getting a message from you later that day going, so I didn't get Evan's Remains, but I did get Superliminal, and I think I'm going to stream it tonight.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, cool. More indie titles, the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is a great little indie game. I can see him doing more with the. Well, no, I can't see him doing more with the concept, but I can see the developer going back and doing more things like it if it was a success. I think it came out late last year on other consoles and only just released on Switch. But it's a great time, and as I say, the whole shrinking things and making things bigger is it just scratches the surface of what you can do with it.
Yeah.
How about you? What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing another indie title this week. Yeah, I completely balled that up. Yeah, not an indie title. I've been playing Doom Eternal still. I put another hour and a half or so into that. Not very long, admittedly, but I got through the first level and I got through most of the second level. And it's safe to say I'm at the point where I'm not overly happy. Because,
why so?
Well, you know that episode of Family Guy where the two lorries crash into each other, and the drivers wake up and go, "Oh, you got peanut butter on my chocolate," and you got chocolate on my peanut butter. Well, it's kind of like that, but instead of a Reese's cup, it's Doom and story, and they've got story in my Doom and Doom in my story, and I like the fact that they were pretty much two separate entities in the first game.
Yeah, it's one of those. The worst parts of the first game was when it sort of locked you in a room and forced you to listen to some sort of story for.
No, but it never did.
It did. It did once or twice. Yeah.
It did at the end of the game, where I was just sort of like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a really awesome thing, and I kind of want this, and okay, that's the end of the game. But the opening of Doom was all about, yeah, no, fuck the story, because it was Doom guy wakes up, breaks the screen that's talking at him, trying to give him lore. The lore was there, but only in the background, and now it's not. Now there's radio announcements about the fact that Doom, the Doom Slayer, also known as Doom Guy, has been seen fighting in the San Andreas Fault, and it's like,
Okay, I
no,
see.
fuck off with your stupid story. And it's a case of
And
I went
is
into it.
that sort of thing running in the background then when you hear these announcements?
So that's on the central hub, which
Oh,
is a spaceship in outer space. I realised it was getting bad when I went into the second level, and about 10 minutes into the second level, it went fast travel location unlocked, and it's like, why? What?
yeah, that's a
Why have you
weird
put fast
addition.
travel? Why have you put fast travel in my Doom?
Yeah,
I
that's
want linear corridors. I want open spaces where I can run and jump and shoot shit. I don't want story. I don't want to kill a room of things, and then a cutscene of a door opening happens to let me know where I'm going. I know where the door is. I've run past it 3 or 4 times while shooting the fucking shit out of this room.
yeah, it's a weird addition to Doom,
It's
isn't it? A really weird addition.
yeah. The environments are nice though. The contrast between the first environment and the second environment are really, really nice. Some of the movement mechanics they've included are fantastic. Some of the upgrades and RPG elements they've added less so, because it just takes away from this core experience of I want to run around and shoot shit and
Hmm.
blow things up.
That was kind of the thing I
And then
didn't like
there's
about Doom 2016 was like the upgrade trees and stuff like that. I just thought I don't want to spend my time in Doom in menus.
no, I don't want to spend my time in menus. I want to spend my time running around shooting shit.
Hmm.
Which the running around shooting shit, bang on. The platform sections less bang on, because I'm not Mario. I'm Doom guy. I don't run around jumping on. I do run around jumping on bad guys' heads, but that's because I choose to, not because I have to.
And the
I'm
bad
I'm
and the bad guys are
I'm feeling
demons,
like I'm
not
being
Goombas.
are Goombas, not demons. Um, yeah, I mean, I sound like I'm being really, really negative about it, but for all I've played, I'm really enjoying it. But it is definitely a case of it doesn't feel as Doom as I would want it to feel
Hmm.
right now. But I do get the feeling that, again, it's because I'm only in the first 2 or 3 hours, and they are still introducing elements. So I wonder if once they've done that, it's just going to be a case of, yep, okay, here you go, run around, shoot shit, kill things, do it as you want. It might well have been the same in Doom 1. I know I got turned off of Doom 1 quite early on.
And then you
Doom
enjoyed it again.
2016. And then I went back to it, and apparently I'd got past all of the tutorial-y shit and just blazed through it.
Hmm.
I'll probably have more to say next time we play, although I might, next time we record, although I might not, given what I'm currently downloading. So I think that's probably me for Doom. You've been playing anything else?
Yeah, I've been playing some Cadence of Hyrule. The DLC came out, shadow dropped in the Nintendo Direct, well, the third party Nintendo Direct,
And
and
that was only the first part of 5 DLCs, though, wasn't it?
3 DLCs. The first
3.
one
I thought it was
is
5.
no, the first one is a character pack with 5 characters, which what you might be thinking of. And then the second one is new songs, I think, and then the third one is a new story and a new map and everything, based on Skull Kid and Majora's Mask.
Yes. Yes, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it being a lot of fun. That one. The whole game's a lot of fun, but I accidentally didn't play the DLC, and I just started playing something that's apparently a part of the main game where you play as the villain Octavo, but it's still a lot of fun. And I think it just goes. I don't have all that much to say about it that hasn't already been said, but I think it just goes to show how gorgeous a pixel art Zelda game can look. And I know that like Nintendo have moved away from anything sprite based and anything pixel based, and even the 2D games are all 3D, aren't they? Really, like they use 3D models. But I'm just watching the gameplay now, and It's so pretty. It just looks so good. But yeah, that's all I've really got to say on that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, you did mention that was going to be a quick one.
yeah, I did. Have you been playing anything else?
Of course I have. You know that I have because you've already got the video lined up
I
for it.
certainly have got the video lined up.
Yeah, so in the last couple of weeks, the fourth part of the Master Chief Collection dropped on PC. So, of course, I took that deep dive into Halo 3 again, and it is so much nicer playing Halo 3 at 144 frames a second than it is playing at 30 frames a second on a console with a weirdy controller.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult, but not too difficult. It's Halo 3, so it is the pinnacle of, well, the pinnacle of Halo. It's the best numbered Halo game, without a shadow of a doubt. And it just plays so well on PC.
I can imagine.
I'm using a 970 GTX and GT. I don't know. I've got a 970. And I'm able to run it at high settings, 144 frames a second. And it's Halo, and I love it, and I'm so glad that I'm now able to play it on PC rather than playing it on Xbox. And yeah, it's just I haven't jumped into the multiplayer yet. I haven't played with any friends, but it doesn't matter because even single player, this game is just probably one of the best shooters in the last 20 years.
That might change
Easily.
soon. That might change soon. The fact that you haven't played with friends. If I do end up picking up Game Pass,
yeah, then Phil will invite me to his games, and we won't have to,
we won't have to put up with me.
That was why I trailed off there. Come on,
Mr.
No,
Ingram.
I mean, hello,
Go on,
Captain Keys. I had a weird moment earlier this week though when I got a message from somebody saying, "Does Master Chief have a voice?" Because my main memories from the first game is that opening section, which you don't know because you've not played Halo.
I've never played Halo.
There's an opening. The opening tutorial section is you going to the deck to interact with the captain, and you just walk up behind him, and the first thing you hear is Captain Keys. And it's just from that moment onwards, it's just like the best game of all time. I mean, it's Halo. It's good, and if you were to get the Xbox Game Pass, which by the way, great deal, not sponsored, #non-sponsor. I would definitely play through all of the Halo games with you. Cool. Easily.
You mentioned Halo 3.
I don't even need an excuse.
You mentioned Halo 3 was the best numbered Halo game.
Yes, and there are probably, there's probably a lot of people that would disagree with me on this, but I loved Halo Reach. I loved playing the single player. I loved playing the multiplayer. It's just one of those things. It's got like my heart will always be with Halo Reach.
Is Halo Reach the one where
everyone dies? Yes.
Yeah. Are the levels all flashbacks as well?
Ish.
Yeah.
It's a prequel to Halo 1, and it's based on the Reach book. But yeah, it's essentially it's the first interaction with humans of the Covenant, and then the discovery of the Halo rings. But I don't want to spoil too much for you because the story in that game is great, and it's a fantastic game.
It's a series.
And I just feel like it is Bungie's love letter to the Halo franchise before they hand it over to 343, who then did Halo 4 and 5. And then Master Chief Collection, so they've done something right.
Yeah, re-releasing old games.
Yeah, when they fixed all the problems that Master Chief Collection had on Xbox launch.
Mm-hmm. But like,
and you know,
Master Chief Collection alone for Game Pass at $3.99 a month.
Oh, for what it is.
I can't. I am going to get Game Pass. I think I mentioned earlier.
You can trial it for a month for £1.
Yeah, I mean,
single solitary £1.
I'm
Hashtag not an advertisement.
Phil Spencer, if you want to sponsor us, go ahead. But I don't believe.
Yes, Phil Spencer, if you want to sponsor us, I will quite happily take Microsoft money, or an early access preview of Halo Infinite for payment. I think Sam would prefer the money, but
yeah,
So if you're hearing us, Phil, you are number 2 in our hearts after Reggie.
You are, Phil. You are number 2 in our hearts. We love you, Phil.
Which if you'd have told me that 5 years ago, then I'd have fucking strangled you and laughed, because I would never have thought that somebody at Microsoft or Xbox would be doing good stuff.
No, but he's doing great stuff.
And we'll get onto that a bit more later, won't we?
We certainly will.
So, do you want to jump back into the deep dive which you're about to do on, whatever this new thing that you've been playing is?
Whatever this new thing that I've been playing is that Twitter hated before it came out. Which, as is the case.
Wait. Twitter had a negative opinion on something? Say it isn't so!
I think Reddit did as well. Like, everywhere was just so negative about Paper Mario, the Origami King.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't think that any social media anywhere has negative opinions about anything. It's like YouTube comments. You go to YouTube comments for the truth.
You do. You certainly do.
And for happy discourse and discussion.
You absolutely do. And not just for someone, shouting back a catchphrase at you. Literally. Literally, any comedy videos I watch on YouTube, the top comment, and on your phone, it's sort of like you can see the top comment before any of the recommended videos.
Tell me about it.
It just ruins it. Just spoils
especially
the
when
joke.
that top comment is spoiling who got out of the group that you're about to watch in GSL.
Oof. What's GSL?
But that's why StarCraft.
Ah.
Did you even need to ask?
I mean, I assumed it was something StarCraft related, but it's always nice to clarify for Reggie.
Go watch GSL. It's probably some of the best esports you'll ever watch ever. Especially Stats versus Rogue Game 2 in the round of 16 Group D of GSL Season 2 2020. Go watch that game. It is fantastic. It's some of the best StarCraft this year.
Should we link it down there?
No.
So I've been playing Paper Mario the Origami King, and it's a great
something.
Pardon?
Nothing.
It's a great game. It's really, really fun. As always with Mario RPGs, the writing is just on point. There's just witty little one-liners everywhere. It's just charming. The game just oozes charm around every corner. The paper.
Does it have the typical paper? Does it have the typical Paper Mario turn-based combat?
Are you setting me up here, Dan? Is this a setup? It has literal turn-based combat. Yeah, the combat system's really fun. The everything's on a sort of ring-based system. I'm hoping this guy on this stream will get into a fight pretty soon. But yeah, everything's on a ring-based. Pardon? It's not my stream. No. It's not up, my stream is not up on YouTube. But no, yeah, it sort of makes each battle a little puzzle. Oh, now we're getting into a little battle. Not that you can see, but Reggie, you can see it. In which oh, that battle music is fantastic.
Sorry, that's Pokemon.
I know that's Pokemon, but this battle music is like a little. I think it's kind of jazzy. I'm not sure. Anyway, so it makes each battle a pretty much a literal puzzle in trying to get all the enemies lined up in the right places. And I was kind of worried at first because if you got it right, it was always just an insta kill, a one hit kill, pretty much. But later in the game, it doesn't become that. Later in the game, it does become an actual battle, Some guy, he just saved a toad and he's just hopped off. So the toads are all hidden about like the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild, and some of them like just stand there when you've saved them and they have a little one-liner. But some of them, let's say if they've been turned into an origami butterfly, some of them like run around flapping the little arms as if they're still a butterfly when they're a toad. It's adorable. Grasshoppers like go and jump about. It's it's really charming. There's one thing that I didn't like, and it's a specific moment that I'm not going to spoil. But essentially, it's a comedy game, right? And so I'm wondering how to put this because I've had this same conversation with my granddad of all people. It's a comedy game, and so most of the jokes are just in the writing or in like witty little one-liners, which is fine. But then when they do when they do a joke that doesn't work, and it's like a big moment, it really, really stands out as not working. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When something falls flat, you can tell it falls flat.
It falls really flat when it falls flat, yeah. And
almost like it's made out of paper.
Almost like it's made out of paper. Yeah, there are a few creases like that. But they're few enough and far between enough that it is worth recommending, and it's definitely worth playing. And I already know that I want to start off my review being super positive and then being like, everyone hated this game before it came out. It's great. Play it. And I think that's it for what I've been playing. Have you got anything else?
I've not been playing much else either. Outside of the typical Animal Crossing and Pokemon stuff, which I'm not going to go into because, well, I've ranted enough about Animal Crossing and praised Pokemon. Wait, other way around.
Yeah, we were becoming a Pokemon podcast at one point, weren't we?
I think we were becoming an anti-Pokemon podcast at some point.
Yeah, we were. Aren't they one and the same at this moment in time?
Yes.
Right, so that's it for what we've been playing. Let's take a short break, and then we'll come back to this.
Shall I do something for our sponsors?
You certainly should.
Okay. This week we are sponsored by Nondescript Purple Drink in a gin glass, because that's how you do it when you're sophisticated. Taste that purpley goodness. We'll be right back.
We'll see you soon. Welcome back to Video Games and Chill.
Yep, that's totally going to get cut out, so welcome back to Video Games and Chill.
So let's talk about the news, Dan. There's been like... It's weird, this whole summer of gaming thing. There's been loads of news, and also it feels like there's been barely anything.
So it's odd, because what it feels like is that E3 has lasted for 3 months now.
Mm-hmm. But it also feels
And
like a disappointing E3 as well.
I feel like if E3 had happened, it would have been a disappointing E3.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly, I mean, I say mainly. So the EA conference, which we talked about last time, was complete and utter bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
The one which we're talking about now, which is the Ubisoft conference, I will read what I wrote from my note. Bugger all.
And I just wrote, I am whelmed. It was exactly what we expected to see, and we saw it, and it looked fine.
Yeah, there was, there was obviously, obviously it was recorded before all of the shit about Ubisoft has come out, and I feel like we don't really want to go into that, but I will say, Yves Guillemot, fucking resign. If you didn't know what was going on, then you're a shit owner. So resign. And if you did know what was going on, why the fuck did you let it happen? Resign. That's all I will say about the Ubisoft conference.
What
No,
I'll say about the actual games is that Watch Dogs is looking pretty good.
but there was nothing in the Watch Dogs trailer that we hadn't already seen or knew was happening.
No, it was a bit. It was
Okay, anybody you meet on the street can be recruited. Fair enough. Awesome. I'm going to have 64 old women with handbags battering the shit out of London. Sold.
But it the concept is fine and it looks good, but it's like you say, it's just there's
Meh.
nothing new. There's nothing new they were showing. Same.
No.
I feel the same with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I mean,
Valhalla.
Valhalla. That's the one. I don't know if you caught the bit after the press conference, but they were showing some gameplay, and they had Viking rap battles essentially.
I did not see this. I assumed you were joking until the point where I saw it on Reddit and I was like, oh, God. It's like Valhalla was looking like a really, really. The fact that Ubisoft are putting games in England, brilliant. I want to run around futuristic London going, I know where this is. I know where this is. All right, mate. All right, mate.
And it's
Cherry trip.
Vikings, so surely there'll be a playable York, right?
Yes, it's they've listed the towns, but essentially it's a case of I already know where my home base is going to be, based purely on the map which they showed.
Okay.
Because Lincolnshire is one of the counties, and it's like, well, I guess my home base is going to be in Lincolnshire then. Born there, may as well make my. And fire physics, good. Ubisoft have always been good with fire physics.
Mm-hmm.
And
Burning
all
down
of this
villages
jazz,
and stuff.
it all looked really good, and then fucking Viking rap battles.
I mean, obviously it's just a side thing, but it is what it is.
If the Viking rap battle can end with me plunging an axe into the other Viking instead of actually rapping, then I'll be fine. Oh, you want to challenge me to a Viking rap battle? Okay, you rap, I'll battle.
and I love hip hop, and I love sort of. I love. It's an idea that should be right up my street, but it's so not.
It's so cringy and it's just completely out of place.
Mm-hmm.
I've got nothing against R&B. I've got nothing against whatever dub, trub, wub step people listen to on rap, and nothing against it. I enjoy it if it's done well.
Mm.
This will not be done well. This will also be completely out of place.
Yeah, it will be completely out of place.
How are you going to do a sick burn blood with your Mac drop? When you don't have microphones or, and the village around you is actually burning.
So it's very much a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else happened in the Ubisoft conference. I know there was some disappointing mobile shit for games that are already out. And then there was the cinematic. Oh, can I just, before we move on to the cinematic trailer for Far Cry 6, can I just make a point of the fact that Watch Dogs, this game that is infamous for the original, having a cinematic trailer at E3 and not living up to that cinematic trailer at E3 being advertised by a cinematic trailer.
I think the problem with that that original one for Watch Dogs 1 was that it was a gameplay trailer, and the gameplay just didn't end up looking anything like that.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Far Cry 6, yeah. Doesn't look like the young kid is going to be Vass, which was the rumor. And, you know, Giancarlo... Fuck, what's his name?
Giancarlo Esposito.
There we go. I was thinking of Giancarlo Era. Giancarlo Esposito gives a grenade to his son and almost pushes him off a roof. There you go. That's all you need to know about the trailer.
I mean, honestly, it was acted really well. Which
you would expect.
It was tense. It was a good cinematic trailer, but that's all it was.
So there were two things that disappointed me about that trailer. One, he didn't push his son into the crowd, which I thought he was going to do. Two, he didn't encourage his son to throw the grenade into the crowd, which I also thought he was going to do.
He did, didn't he? He dropped the grenade down into the crowd of people. Because he'd pulled the pin out, and so he was holding on, so it was live. I thought that was the whole point.
Right. You might be right. I'll have to go back and look at this, and I may have to take point two back.
Yeah, no, it was one of those where the reason he was holding the grenade so tightly and the whole tension of the trailer was because he pulled out the pin and said to him, "The pin just holds this in place, so hold it nice and tight and it won't explode." And then he's like, "Follow me." And so, the kid almost trips up with a grenade in his hand and stuff like that, and then
he never drops it. He doesn't drop it.
Does he not?
No. The last thing that you see is his fingers sort of loosening, but he doesn't drop it.
Oh, okay. Well, the implication's definitely there.
Yeah, but I was right in the fact that he didn't drop it or throw it or, get his dick out and swoosh it to the left and swipe everybody right.
He's a child, Dan.
You know what I mean? It's a case of he didn't show any of that dictatorship bullshit that could have been pulled. And the whole speech is actually fantastic as well.
I think the implication was there, and I think that was enough for me. I'm looking for. I've never played Far Cry, as you know. But
have you played any game that would establish you as a gamer?
You know me. I'm more of a Nintendo guy.
The answer to that is yes, Daniel. I play lots of games. Shut up, you gatekeeping motherfucker.
I do think this though. When we're talking, and I'm like, "Oh, I've not played that. I've not played that." Then I don't know.
Sorry, you sat and platinumed fucking Jak and Daxter in one sitting in my flat in first year.
What a fantastic game!
Don't worry. You have the only platinum trophy on my PlayStation account.
Yes. Oh, I love Jak and Daxter.
I would never I would never question your gaming credentials.
But yeah, Ubisoft all over, just it's fine.
It's more Ubisoft.
And then moving on to an article that you added to the document, Spider-Man Miles Morales features optional 4K 60 frames per second performance mode.
Right, so you have just read the hyphens in the URL there. So what the actual article is you can play it in 4K at 30 FPS, or you can play it at 1080p at 60.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Hey, giving users a choice, all okay with me. And I know full well that if I were to buy a PlayStation 5, which I'm not going to, I would play it in the 1080p 60 FPS mode.
And I know I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5, and I'll probably do the same, because I don't know, it's always nice giving gamers the option, isn't it?
Yeah, there was an interesting point in the Xbox conference where they showed it was during the Ori and the Blind Forest demo when they showed what the difference between the standard 60 and the 120 frames a second was. in terms of reaction times and speed and the low latency. And I feel like that sort of thing should be made more prominent, because then it shows the gamers, oh yeah, no, if you are running at a higher frame rate, you are going to be better at the game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is always, it always also explains, why back in ye old days where I was playing Call of Duty with friends on Xbox, why I would feel like I was a better player when I was playing on PC, because I was playing at a higher frame rate.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's also the mouse and keyboard controls that help there. I cannot go back to a controller for a shooter now. I'm terrible.
No, I'm mouse and keyboard for even third person shooters.
Even
I'll use a controller for third person action games, like when Kingdoms
of Amalur Re-Reckoning.
Re-Reckoning, when that comes out next month, I'm going to be using the controller for that.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose the real example would have been, I use a controller for The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
I
use a controller for Dark Souls. Like, you
Yeah.
can't play Dark Souls on a mouse and keyboard. I mean, you can, but
Why would you?
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to see Sony offering this choice.
Mm-hmm.
Next article, which I've linked, is one that is fresh off the presses today, and is a.
This one is hilarious to me.
So allegedly, Doritos have leaked a Doritos packet has leaked the name of the new Call of Duty game, because we all care about that. I put it in here, so it is my fault that we care about that. It's going to be called Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and like all of the other Black Ops games, is going to be based during the Cold War. Apart from Black Ops 3, which was set in a future Cold War.
It's almost like calling a game The Last of Us Zombie Apocalypse.
So what I think this is going to be is, I think this is going to be a remake of the original Black Ops.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But instead of, because obviously they did Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which they just called Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and it was a different title to Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
They can't really do that with Black Ops, because it would just be Black Ops, so they've added the Cold War on there. And if it is, then it is, it's Call of Duty, it'll sell shit tons, and everybody will be disappointed in it.
I've been jonesing for some Call of Duty, you know.
I know, you said.
It's one of those. The games are like too expensive for how little time I will put into it.
Yeah, but if for example, we managed to get 2 extra people and we were going to play zombies on the original Black Ops, yeah, I'd be all over that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll send people messages after this.
Then Nintendo had a mini direct partner presentation. I feel like these titles are just getting longer.
Yes, your joke was not funny.
It certainly wasn't. But, we started with Nintendo Directs, then we got Nintendo Direct Minis, then we got Nintendo Direct Mini partner presentations. I don't
Electric Boogaloo!
Yeah. 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah, come on, say it. Come on.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the thing.
Was Nintendo Mini Direct Partner Presentation 3 and Knuckles featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series with all new funky mode trademark.
The old meme. The old ones are the best.
Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, so we've already gone over half of what we need to talk about with this, which is the Cadence of Hyrule DLC.
It's a season
pass.
Part
1 is already out, and more is coming.
Yeah, it's a season pass. There are 3 elements to it. The first one is already out, which is a new character pack, which, as I said earlier, I thought I was playing. Turns out I am not. Turns out I'm just playing. I don't know if
the original game.
Well, no, I don't know if it was a free update where you got to play as the villain, or whether it was something you unlocked after beating the game. But basically, it's just a new character. Basically, it's all just new characters. So I am just playing through it again.
Yep.
Then the second one, as far as I know, is a song pack with 39 new tracks. And the third one is a little side story where you play as Skull Kid, and it's a Majora's Mask-esque thing.
Yep. They've also announced and released a bundle with the original and the DLC. So,
Physically.
you don't own the game, you can go and you can buy it as sort of like a Game of the Year edition, which is good. The big thing, however, to come out of this presentation was the announcement that there's going to be a Shin Megami Tensei 3 remaster released in 2021 on the Switch, and more importantly, a Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming to Switch.
I think we've known for a while that Shin Megami Tensei 5 was coming. I think we just haven't heard anything from it.
No, but there was a proper trailer, there's a tentative release date, and a platform, which I think the Shin Megami Tensei games will work really well on the Switch. I'm always up for more JRPGs on my little JRPG machine. It's not what I was expecting when I saw the Persona, when I saw the Atlas logo.
Were you expecting Persona 5?
I was expecting Persona 4 Golden to be shadow dropped.
Yeah.
And then Persona 5 to be announced. But
instead we've got Shin Megami Tensei 3 and Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Which I'm still okay with. Honestly, I'm kind of hyped for that. But, we'll see what happens when it actually gets released. Also, another thing is the fact that it is being released globally on the same day, which means that Atlas are finally accepting the fact that the Western market is a market. And I get the feeling this is because Persona 4 Golden sold more copies on Steam within the first couple of weeks than it did on every other platform at all.
I wonder if this is Nintendo pushing for this, because obviously these are coming out on Switch. So I remember when Pokemon, there used to be a big delay between Japan and then it used to come out in America way before Europe as well. And now obviously that's a worldwide release. I wonder if Nintendo are pushing for like their exclusives to be worldwide releases, or whether it's just the industry.
They would do. It's the fact that the Switch isn't region locked. It makes no sense for it to be released in Japan and then released elsewhere 3 months further down the line. And it's not as if companies like Atlas don't have the ability to do the translation whilst the development is ongoing.
Yeah.
Things are much more streamlined and much more doable than they were 10 years ago. So it's probably a combination of the two. It's probably a combination of more up-to-date development practices and also Nintendo going, look, right, you release a game on this platform, we want it everywhere all at the same time.
Yeah, it could be. Whichever way, it's just a good thing, isn't it?
Yep. Right, so we're going to move on to the Xbox One X, Series X,
Xbox Series X,
featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
Electric Boogaloo.
But first, I believe there's some breaking news that you wanted to break.
L is real, 2401.
Awesome. Moving on.
Stop. So there's been quite a few Nintendo leaks.
Well, from what I understand, it is just the one big leak that is just a shit ton of data that has just been unearthed from somewhere, and it's just people parsing through that and pulling out the relevant information and translating it.
Yeah. So this one is the news that there is a model of Luigi in Super Mario 64, and so there were always rumors about that, and it's kind of cool just seeing this old information getting unearthed.
You mean he's not called Luigi?
Is he not called Luigi? I
think the title of the Reddit thread was Luigi found in Super Mario 64 code.
Was it? Oh no!
I was just sort of like, oh, this is that's going to be the one that makes it to r/all.
Oh, of course. I love typos in headlines, and I find it's always the things that are like quoted if you know what I mean. Like anything that is highlighted or in capitals or something. Oh.
Did you see the other, slightly off topic, did you see the one the other day that made it to r/all, where it was a shark attack in Australia, but the typo had changed the K to a T, so it just said, "Shark attack."
Oh
Like,
no!
How embarrassing for him.
Oh no! Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about this Ellie's Real 2401, which of course was what people thought the text said on the statue in the courtyard in Mario 64, is that it was the news has come out 24 years and 1 month after Super Mario 64 released.
A, fuck, that makes me feel old.
Mm-hmm.
B, a fucking course it is.
I mean, it's a total coincidence, obviously, but
Yeah, but it's one of those coincidences like The Simpsons predicting shit,
mm-hmm.
where it's like, yeah, okay, of course it is. Yeah, just smile and move on. We're not going to
Mm-hmm.
explain any of that. Who cares?
Oh, so let's get into the Xbox Series X preview, but first let's have a little break. Have you got any more sponsorships, Dan?
1 moment, I can find one. Generic sticky pads. You can put them over your camera, like so that people know you'll be right back.
Oh, fantastic. We will be right back. We really should have prepared this more, shouldn't we? And we're back.
Then.
That is us back. I was actually going to remind you that you still had that on there. I wasn't sure whether you knew.
I mean, you kind of counted me down, so I looked at my screen and I thought, what's that big fucking green thing? That's not normal.
So, let's get into the Xbox Series X conference. So we opened up with the big one, the one that everyone knew was coming, Halo.
Halo Infinite, yeah.
Which, Dan, people can see just there.
They can see it right there, can they?
I'm so excited about this.
Right here.
Yeah, down there.
So, I'll take this one, shall I? Given that I am the Halo guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good God, does it look good? There are a lot of people on the internet talking about the fact that it doesn't look good and that Clive is a poor, sad, lonely soul, and he is, and we will endeavour to make him feel better. But it looks like it feels more Halo than 4 and 5. There's no longer aim down sight bollocks that is ripped straight from Call of Duty. With the trailer, it is the flagship title for their console and for their brand, and I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed because, it looked a little bit janky. There was pop-in left, right, and center. Some of the guns didn't sound or look as if they carried enough punch.
You know what surprised me just on the pop-in thing?
Yeah.
When they went back and showed just like a 3-second clip of the game, when they were talking about it and they were cutting between the interview and the gameplay, that 3-second clip had pop-in, and I was like, oh, why?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, okay, it's a demo version of the game and they've got 4 or 5 months now to polish it.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, good. Hope they do. But also, I looked at it and I was like, okay, this isn't going to be like Pokemon Sword and Shield, where, that pop-in's definitely going to be there on launch, because I'm going to play it on PC. And it's not going to be a problem on PC.
Hopefully not.
And if it's a problem on PC, then within 2 weeks there'll be a fan-made patch for it.
You'd hope so. You'd hope so. But the Xbox Series X is going to be more powerful than a lot of PCs.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yep. The key important thing that I feel like should be mentioned, and unfortunately, if it does end up, no, they won't end up dropping it. Running at 60 frames a second, of smooth 60 frames a second, which is probably why there was a bit of pop-in, because they're probably still optimizing the game to run like that.
Oh, there was a
I
bad bit of
imagine,
popping on the trailer just then as they're going up the elevator.
yeah,
It's one of those
yeah,
where I've heard a lot of speculation online about why the popping exists. Some people have cited the fact that they're aiming for 4K 60 FPS on the Series X. Well, no, they're guaranteeing 4K 60 FPS. I think on the Series X,
wow,
and maybe that's just too high of a bar to hit without some leeway here and there, light popping. I've heard some people talk about the fact that they're putting a focus on co-op again, which I know
yeah,
the Halo 1, 2, and 3 were big on co-op, weren't they?
yeah.
And so ensuring 4K 60 FPS in co-op mode. I know I've heard some people say it's because of the open world, so there's just more to render.
Is it an open world though? We haven't actually had confirmation of that. The only thing we've had confirmation of is the fact that this is the. Uh, it sounds like Halo Infinite is going to be another games as a service,
Mm-hmm.
where this is the platform which future Halo titles are going to be released through.
Yeah,
Now, whether that means that it's an open world or whether it means that there's going to be episodic content afterwards, I don't know.
the
The map
trailer.
the map certainly looked very open world,
That's what I was
but
just
I'm not
about to
sure how
say.
it would work. I'm not sure how it would work for a Halo game. But also, having said that, if it was going to if it was going to work for a first-person shooter, Halo would be the one where it would work.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense whatsoever.
I think it does, and I think like open world is a bit of a weirdly like ubiquitous term, in the sense that would you call something like Mario Odyssey open world? I mean, each level is very open, and there's a lot of different objectives to do on it. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the direction they're going. It is a quote unquote more open world to
Yes.
explore.
So, so we then come down to the distinction between open world games and sandbox games.
Mm-hmm.
So I would consider Mario Odyssey an open world game, but not a sandbox game.
See, I wouldn't necessarily consider it an open world game because you've got different levels that you go into,
No.
but it's each level is kind of a sandbox in the sense that it's an enclosed area, a big enclosed area for you to play about with the tools that you're given. I think that's more the direction Halo might be going from this trailer alone. The fact that did they say something about the number of planets that you go into is bigger than any other Halo game or something?
Yeah. No.
Did they not? I'm
You don't go.
sure.
Just a little bit of a spoiler here, Sam. You don't really go to planets when you're on Halo.
Do you not?
I mean, technically, Halo 3 starts on Earth and Halo Reach is on Reach, but you're mostly on the ring.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. They could have said something like that. I don't remember it. The only real indication that we had that it was any sort of form of open world was the map, which Halo has never, as far as I'm aware, has never really had a map before.
No.
It could have been in 4 and 5 because I've played about 2 hours of 4, and I hope I will never have to play through 5, even though I probably will do at some point. Um, it's a Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It looks like Halo. I will. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to end up playing this.
On Games Pass.
And yeah, on Games Pass. Hashtag not an ad. Um, yeah, and that is also actually well done for bringing that up. That is also a very key point. Every single title that we are about to talk about, and every single title at the Xbox reveal event, is going to be available on Xbox Games Pass, which is a big commitment. But it's the similar direction to where EA are going with their Origin Premier Super Elite Pass thing.
Mm-hmm. Which is extremely consumer friendly.
Devil May Cry.
Yeah, which is extremely consumer friendly, but
Yeah. I mean, £3 or £4 a month to play every Xbox title that gets released over the next. I mean, that's PC. The actual Xbox Series X, whatever version, is a little bit more expensive.
yeah, and there's different tiers as well.
Xbox Live and...
Yeah, there's different tiers where there's Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is going to include xCloud and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's consumer friendly, moves forward. I'm more than happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
What little they showed of Halo it felt Halo.
Yeah.
One of the things is that brutes can now throw grunts, which is great. Although it doesn't really fit with how the bad guy, I can't remember the name of the faction, but that faction is supposed to be, no, we are all alien and we are all equal. But I'm going to throw this fucking grunt over there with 2 grenades attached to him and hope that he blows up the demon. But I'll have to wait and see how that works. I'm not completely clued in on how this faction works because I haven't played Halo 4 or 5. So I could just be talking up my ass.
Moving on from that.
My ass.
Okay.
Zombie Deer seemed to be the in thing in this conference.
It certainly did.
Happened at least twice.
It certainly did with State of Decay 3. It was a cinematic trailer, not much to talk about there. It's coming.
Zombie Deer.
And then Forza Motorsport. Forza Motorsport again.
Not a numbered entry. It was a very brief, hey, this is a car. Do you want to buy this car? No? Well, buy this game and you can drive this car.
Mm-hmm.
Next
we had Everwild, which is Rare's new game.
Very pretty.
Very pretty. We only got a cinematic trailer, which is...
I've just realised if you get Xbox Game Pass, we can do Sea of Thieves and we could have a pirate ship together.
Oh, let's do it.
We could totally do that, yes. The two of us roaming the seas and getting shot to shit at by everybody else in the sea.
And I've heard that game's improved.
It's improved since launch. It's very much like No Man's Sky, where at the beginning it was shit and now it's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Also, No Man's Sky is part of Xbox Game Pass. # not an ad.
So, Everwild looks so pretty. Like the world it builds.
Look at it. Watch it. Oh, doesn't that look pretty? I can't believe she did that to that deer. But on the bright side, look, the deer's coming back to life.
Your timing was great until you started talking about the deer.
I know, that's probably happening about now.
It's not.
Damn it!
But
yeah, it was a good 2 or 3 minute trailer, and it was all cinematic. But it wasn't an announce; it was just a further trailer. We still have no idea how the game's going to play.
Oh, was it not an announcement?
No. It was announced back in May.
Oh, okay.
Might have been earlier than that.
We've just got to the part where the big fish vomits out all the little fish.
See, Qui-Gon was right. There is always a bigger fish.
There certainly is. But it looks really pretty. The world looks like really, really interesting. It's all about magic and how these people, essentially your characters, connect to nature and magic and all this, that and the other. Spiritual nature stuff.
All of which he's pulled out of his arse because we actually know shit all about it.
Yeah, no, it
looks like a druid game.
Yeah, maybe.
But no, it looks pretty. Cell shaded.
Mm.
What have I written? Very pretty, nice lighting engine, cell shaded, zombie deer.
I just wish we knew a little bit more about it.
Now. Yeah, but it's probably not going to be out until next year, so there's probably going to be one more E3 between now and when it's released.
Yeah, I know. It's just I do just wish there was some hint of what it was beyond the aesthetics.
Yeah, but sometimes that's all you need.
Speaking of sometimes that's all you need, tell me why Don't Nod's next game. Was this a reveal?
I'll
This
tell
was
you
a
why.
reveal.
Yes, it was. I will tell you why. It looks very much like the previous Don't Nod games. I get the feeling that it will be linked to the Life is Strange universe in some way or form, purely based on sort of like the concepts explored in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I think I screamed about halfway through, Sam, no, Don't Nod. You will not make me cry during your fucking trailer. It's bad enough you get me to do it during your fucking games.
Yep.
Take a napkin or something with you when you watch this trailer, because it will push you to the point of tears, and that's just through the trailer. So I can't imagine how I'm going to be like during the actual game.
And it's one of those where I know I sort of bugged on what's it called, Everwild, for only having a cinematic trailer, but this is the kind of game which only needs a cinematic trailer, because we know sort of that the concept is going to be linked to the gameplay as well as the story, but the gameplay is the story essentially.
Yeah. And the best thing about this is that Chapter 1 is coming in August.
So not too long to wait.
Confirmation that it is episodic, and it's probably going to be 6 episodes, as is standard with Don't Nod games.
Mm-hmm. Then we moved on to Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Yes, Ori HD HD.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be 4K, 120 FPS, low latency controls. What's the last thing I go? Oh, go Microsoft is what I wrote in my notes, because the fact that they are promoting 60 FPS at higher resolutions, or 120 FPS at high resolutions, is something which everything should be focusing on. Although, as far as I'm aware, HDMI is only 60 FPS, so I could be. That's
Yeah, it's one of those. A lot of consumer TVs are only 60 hertz, I think.
Does HDMI 2 support 120 hertz?
As I say, whether or not HDMI does,
I'm looking.
Most TVs don't, as far as I know. Whether that's something the next generation will push for or not, and so whether that's something that televisions will start pushing for, who knows?
Yeah. The new Samsung Q90R is capable of playing 4K 120 Hz through its HDMI 2.0B and all other. Oh, okay. So 2.1 does do 120 Hz.
Okay.
That's fine. Cool. Doesn't matter. I've got a DVI port, digital video interface.
Display port.
I don't know, the one that isn't a VGA. The one that's in between the VGA and the HDMI is the one which I've got, and it does 144 frames a second.
Fantastic.
Who cares? Right.
Go on, I'll let you take this one.
Next, we had some big old Obsidian Blowout Outer Worlds DLC, which is the one which is set in space, and you're kind of lost, and you're trying to find shit out, as opposed to Outer Wilds where you're lost in space. Yep, DLC for that is coming. There's a new silly bug game coming from Obsidian coming. By the time you actually watch this, it'll probably be out.
Yeah, it probably will be. It's out on the 28th of July. I'm going to try and get
Tuesday from this point.
Yeah, which I'm going to try and get this out tomorrow, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, so by the time you're listening to this, it will be out. It's only out in early access though, but it looks weird and wonderful and funny. The trailer opened with if you are waiting for the best game of the year, wait for Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
It was the biggest game of the year. If you're looking for the biggest game of the year, wait for Cyberpunk 2077. If you're looking for the smallest game of the year, it's bugged.
Grounded, it's called.
Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kid version kids.
Mm-hmm. It's not a reveal. It's just It's just an extra trailer, but the concept's fun, isn't it? Like exploring. Well, that's why Pikmin is so popular within a certain subset of people. But exploring it in a more adventure game setting will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks weird and wonderful, and I'll probably dip in and try it at some point. And then they cut to some dude in a studio who I apologize, I can't remember his name, who was like, "Oh, by the way, that big old RPG that Obsidian is working on, yeah, we're working on that now." And then they showed a trailer for Avowed, which I believe is now being displayed in the doobly-doo there.
It certainly is.
Big old RPG, and my notes are it's first person and it's Skyrim, but awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Come at me, internet.
My notes are just The Elder Scrolls New Vegas. Well, you put New Vegas. The Elder Scrolls Obsidian Edition.
That was my joke. How dare you take credit for that?
I ruined it.
It's fine.
No, yeah, the Elder Scrolls Obsidian Edition, The Elder Scrolls New Vegas. It's basically Obsidian doing to Elder Scrolls what they did to Fallout with the Outer Worlds.
Yep, which we've learned during the break is apparently going to be an extended part of the Pillars of Eternity universe, which I am all happy to go with that, because Pillars of Eternity universe is fantastic. But it does look pretty, and the fact that you scratch your runes with your hand as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I will probably play that and sink several thousand hours into it.
Yeah, looks cool. Looks very cool. Next we had As Dusk Falls, which looks again like a very story-based thing, with a really interesting, would you say like hand-painted art style maybe?
Yeah, it was weird, because at the time I don't think either of us knew whether this was a story trailer, a cinematic trailer, or actual gameplay.
I think this is what it's going to look like. So it's like,
I hope it's what it's going to look like.
So it's like things are rendered in 3D, but then characters are painted onto this rendered world.
The story as well spans multiple characters and about 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've written down that it's got a very pretty art style, which I think we've covered. Also, fire. Please tell me that was the point where the fire happened.
No. Oh, just now.
Fire! Go!
There's a little bit of fire. Here we are. Yeah, it looks like it could be great. I'm all for these sort of more experimental, narrative-led experiences. I'm one of those weird ones where, for video games, I think that sort of gameplay trumps all, and that's what sets it apart. That's what sets the medium apart from just a film or a book.
Yeah.
But also, I love walking simulators, and I love these sort of Telltale-like experiences and story-led stuff. So,
yeah,
definitely want to keep an eye on.
And you can do so much more with a game than you can with a film.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the next title was a follow-up to Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade. I've written Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga Vice, because they kept on talking about Senua's Saga throughout the game. It's going to be based in Iceland, which was interesting, and I was wondering whether I could go and visit Sigur, which is a joke which very few people will get. Being built in the Unreal Engine 5 by Ninja Theory. Not much has been developed as of yet from the looks of it. Also, I immediately knew that guy was from Cambridge because he had a stupid top knot.
Hey, I've had a stupid top knot.
Yeah, I know. And I ridiculed you for it back then.
Don't knock the stupid top knot. Yeah, it's Hellblade 2, very early in development. I think from the fact that they said you can see a developer diary of us visiting Iceland, it's like, okay, so you've not got much to show then.
Well, yeah, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The fact that they're spending so long doing the research and the planning before development.
Absolutely, I agree, but for
also it gives me a time to play through the first one because I still haven't done that yet.
Yeah, it's meant to be great. I need to do it as well.
Yep.
Then we had Psychonauts 2 featuring Jack Black. Looked a
Yeah,
lot. Go on, I was going to say.
Blackjack and the Tenacious T.
That's it. It looks a lot trippier than the first game, doesn't it? Lot more
Yeah,
colourful.
there's a lot of color. There's a lot of weirdness. The main character, I can't remember the damn name of, jumps into a brain pretty much straight away.
Mm-hmm.
What I wrote, my main takeaway from that is it feels like very much Yellow Submarine, the game. Did you ever watch Yellow Submarine?
I didn't.
Okay. Well, that was weird and wonderful, and if they made a game of that, then
I think I've heard it's a weird like acid trip of a film.
oh yeah. That's what. But to be fair, that's what the original Psychonauts felt like anyway.
Yeah.
But the original was darker and both in tone and in color.
Mm-hmm.
But whether that was just because of the tools available at the time, I don't know. But looks like more Psychonauts. Hopefully they don't break things. Next up, we had Destiny 2 optimized for Xbox Series X at 60 FPS. Hooray, Microsoft. And then we moved on to what is probably my highlight of the entire damn show.
Yeah, we moved on to Dan is very excited. The game.
I am very, very excited. So the original version of this, I sort of watched from its initial conception up until it's released, and then I played shit tons of it when it was released. And then there were 2 further ones released, as sort of pseudo expansions but standalone titles. And then the game developer went bust as they were making Stalker 2. Which, surprise, we're talking about Stalker 2. And this came out of nowhere. Like, they were showing the trailer, and I was like, okay, this looks very Metro. This looks very, it's set in Chernobyl. There's, the cinematic shots of Chernobyl, like the Ferris wheel and the shots over the city.
The very first thing you said was, "Is this Metro? Could it be Metro?"
Yeah, I thought it was a new Metro title, and then it cut to a very familiar shot, which is this sort of street where there's a group of people sat next to a fire on the left-hand side as you're looking down.
Great
and
timing.
I immediately went, "Oh, maybe it's a Stalker remaster." And then it flashed up Stalker 2, and I was like,
Can I just say, Dan, that was very great timing. Just as you were talking about the street with the people by the fire on the left, it flashed up. Oh, it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, well, that street is the first thing you see after coming out of the bunker in the original Stalker.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And also, just if you ever go back and play Stalker, in that street there is actually a really useful set of armor if you go up onto the rooftops and you can shoot it with a gun and move it, and it'll give you some sort of second tier armor in the first section.
I might have to stream it with you by my side.
Yeah, good luck getting it running on any modern software.
Really? Okay.
It was a little bit janky running on Windows XP, so. Mm-hmm. But
was it that old?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The original Stalker was 2001, I think.
I think you gave me the Steam key because I've definitely played a bit of it.
I don't think I have, because I don't even have it on Steam myself.
I've definitely somehow played a bit of it.
Shadow of Chernobyl was 2007.
Oh, so not. I mean,
that's still 13 years ago.
It is a long time ago, but it's 360 era.
Yeah, and it was only ever on PC.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it's coming on console as well is good. The more more Stalker is good Stalker. As long as they keep the shooting and the feel of the environment as it is.
Which this trailer looks like it does.
Oh yeah. Well, the fact that I thought it was a remaster or a remake.
Yeah, that's true.
Just
speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yep.
Then we moved on to Warhammer 40k Dark Tide launching in 2021.
Yay!
And then Tetris Effect Connected.
Yep, it's multiplayer Tetris. More Tetris is good Tetris.
Yeah, the Tetris Effect was well received on PS4, so it's just more of that with added multiplayer.
With new multiplayer, new types of multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird because I thought this was the ending slate for the whole conference because it did that weird thing where it was showing lots of people playing games.
Yeah,
And then it
yeah,
sort of jumped back into, oh, okay, so this is actually Tetris.
yeah, which is a bit of a weird way to go, but
I mean,
okay.
yeah. And then we moved on to a game called The Gunk, which originally looked like some weird little girl with a robot fist, and turned into a weird little girl with a robot fist that was sucking goop from the world.
Yep, I've written Luigi's Mansion in Space because that's essentially what it looked like to me. You know, looked like she had a kind of weird robotic vacuum that she was using to clean up weird planets. We don't exactly know what it'll involve, but we know more about this than Everwild. So
Yep, and also the soundtrack was spot on. Because, I listen for that sort of thing.
you certainly do. I
I
mean,
do indeed.
we all do, don't we? Really, even if you don't know you're doing it,
Yep.
something resonates
Yep.
for a reason.
Indeed.
I'm just watching the trailer now, and it's very colourful. It is a very pretty game.
Yeah. You're right, it does feel very Luigi's Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then
But
we
it all starts with a dead girl.
Oh, it does. We moved on to the most exciting trailer of the conference. Is that fair to say?
For you, probably.
From
I was
yeah,
all over Stalker, so
yeah. This very
weirdly,
much
Stalkers usually end with a dead girl.
yes.
Hashtag don't steal people's children. Yeah, The Medium.
I think this looks fantastic.
I think it looks great as well.
The whole dual world thing going on at the same time. I wonder how that'll work. I wonder whether it'll be like literal in gameplay where you're seeing like the
Well,
divide.
that's what I said to you, was that it seemed like it was intentional and it was going to be in game like.
Mm-hmm.
But it could well be one of these because in the Halo remaster and in the Halo Anniversary Edition and Halo
Mm-hmm.
2 Anniversary Edition, you can press a single button and the textures change from the new to the old. And I'm wondering if they're potentially going to do something like that, where
Yeah, that's what I was
it's just
thinking
a
too.
texture swipe.
Because there was that moment in the trailer that's just happened now where that does happen, where she's in one world, but then it does happen again where it is split. So
Another one, what this made me think of was it This Way Out, the EA game where it was
yes, A Way Out.
exclusively co-op. A
Mm-hmm.
Way Out, yeah. And it did have all of these split screens and stuff. So it could well be that, or it could well be, you are walking through a world and you've got to switch between to make sure that you're, I don't know. It's weird. It's psychological horror. It's
Mm-hmm.
completely up my street.
Oh, and it's so leaned into the horror aspect. There was that sort of demon thing chasing her, and both versions of her were terrified, but one could see it and one couldn't. I think one version of her seems to have some sort of magical powers, and she's sort of like looking at a hand like this, but it doesn't look out of place in the non-magic version either, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, if we were to go, aha!
Yeah. Yeah, I think it looks so good, so promising. One of those that we don't know much about,
No.
but
I mean, people developing new intellectual properties is always good.
absolutely.
People pushing boundaries and doing new and weird stuff. Yeah, all over it. All over it.
Then we moved on to a couple of things that I guess I'll glance over. The new Genesis Phantasy Star Online 2. Does this do anything for you?
It's a console MMO, and the last time they tried.
Yeah.
I mean, Phantasy Star Online is allegedly pretty good, but it looked pretty.
Yeah.
But it's been tried, and it's really only found it. This is Microsoft's. Hey, Japan, come buy our console.
Mm-hmm. Or hey Japan, subscribe to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Then they showed Crossfire X, which is Remedy, is it?
Yeah, that's Remedy Entertainment's new game, where the multiplayer is free to play through Xbox Game Pass, but the single player is potentially not. But also, the single player is potentially a completely different game to the multiplayer, and it could be. It's Remedy, so it could be completely fucking weird.
It's one of those. The multiplayer is it free to play or is it free to play through Game Pass?
It's free to play through Game Pass.
So then is the single player not available through Game Pass, even though they said everything shown will be available on Game Pass?
I distinctly remember the trailer saying the single player is not available.
Okay. Interesting. And then we cut to the.
1 minute.
Oh.
1 minute. I've got it. I've got the next trailer. Sorry. Here it is. It was awesome. It was completely unexpected.
Stop it.
Nobody
now.
expected it. Ah, I cannot believe it happened. There it is. Metroid Prime fucking 4.
This whole bit is because I said to Dan before the conference started, I said, do we hear anything from Nintendo in this one?
In the Microsoft conference.
Yeah, it was because they have been pretty pally as of late, and there's been people speculating that Game Pass will be coming to Switch, but I don't see it happening.
No, and there have been rumors that Xbox Live is coming to Switch as well, and all of that jazz. And it was a legitimate question, but it also helps that we found out by this point that I was about 20 seconds ahead of him while watching.
I think
so
you're about 3
I was
seconds.
bricking myself. I was bricking myself because of what was actually going on, which was a shot of Playground Games, and then a frog eating a fairy, which can only mean one thing. So immediately on WhatsApp, I screamed, "Metroid Prime 4!" Because Metroid Prime 4, apart from the fact that it's not, it is a 4. It's a 4, unless you count the other shitty titles.
But is it a 4?
It looks like it's not actually going to be a 4, and it's going to stick to the fantasy rather than the pre-industrial stuff of 3. Of course, we are talking about Fable.
We certainly are.
Came as a surprise to. Honestly, I think the only person that was surprised by this was Peter Molyneux.
It was one of those. Everyone knew it was coming.
Everybody had been talking about it for a couple of days before. It's just sort of like, yeah, great, more Fable, fantastic. It missed an entire generation, and it's back.
How did this work for you as the one more thing?
I mean, it was definitely the one more thing. It was definitely what I would have expected from one more thing. I mean, what else could they have done? And it worked really well. The trailer itself, it's typical Fable humor, where fairies, and there's a voiceover talking about fairies and heroes, and then the fairy gets eaten by a frog. And as soon as the fairy gets eaten by the frog, you know where you are.
Mm-hmm. You know it's Fable.
Yeah, and it showed you a shot over what I'm presuming is Avium? Avalon?
I have no idea.
One moment. I should have researched this.
Yeah, I mean, I should have, but I spent the time.
Avalon. Is it Avalon? Albion. There we go. Yeah.
Come on, Dan, get your shit together.
If it's a remake of the original Fable, then fantastic. I get a remake of the original Fable.
Mm-hmm.
If it's If it's a brand new Fable title, then fantastic. I get a brand new Fable title. If it's going to be any good, we'll see. Is Molyneux involved? Who knows? Hopefully not. Let him go back to his 22 cans. But yeah, that sort of closed out the conference with Fable, and it's all in all. I mean, we got Halo gameplay, we got a Fable announcement, we got Stalker 2 announced. I'm happy, if not overwhelmed.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what your thoughts were on the whole conference.
So my thoughts are, I went into the conference expecting to see a load of shit that I could play on PC, and I saw a load of shit that I can play on PC. I was more invested in this conference than I was in the Sony conference, because obviously they've got the whole, yep, everything that's coming out on Xbox is going to be available on PC as well, allegedly. I was satisfied by Halo gameplay. There was nothing that really wowed me. There was nothing that blew me out of the water. There was nothing that came as a real surprise other than Stalker, which is only because I have that, history with Stalker that I felt that way. And yeah, it's yet another 45-minute worth of game trailers that, hooray.
For me, it was just quite underwhelming, or maybe whelming, as I said about the Ubisoft conference. But taking a look at the list of games, Halo Infinite, they opened with, okay, everyone knew it was going to open with that. Everwild looks really promising and really great, but we don't have a clue what it is. I say it looks really promising, the art style looks promising, and the world looks promising, but that's it.
What I will say is, I do wonder what would have happened if this had been an E3 conference. Because they definitely alluded to the fact that there's going to be another one of these coming up, which
This
I imagine
year.
is probably going to be. I imagine it's probably going to be September at TGS, because Tokyo Game Show is going to be all online. So I imagine it's either going to be then or Gamescom, which is either August or October, and I can't remember which. Alongside another Sony one and another Nintendo.
Another Nintendo one? We haven't had a proper Nintendo one, have we, for ages?
No, we've had a very disappointing few Nintendo Directs about Pokemon. But yeah, there will be a Nintendo one at some point this year, hopefully. But I do wonder if there would have been more hype and if there had been more games to show had this entire worldwide bullshit not been going on. Or if they'd have just shown the same 45 minutes worth of gameplay trailers just with a load of people standing on stage. Now, would that have made any difference? Who knows? Maybe that's what we needed. Maybe we need somebody from Rare coming and standing on a stage and saying, hey, this is Everwild. This is what this game is going to be about.
Yeah, even if they still had the same trailer, if they had someone saying that, if they had, you will explore this world, you will do this, you will do that. We don't know what it is.
You will be Madame Tussauds, and you will walk around creating waxworks with your two swords. Also, a zombie deer.
So just to, because I've got a couple of thoughts on Microsoft and Xbox in general, and I've got an article forming in my head which has the tentative title of "The Curious Case of Microsoft's Marketing," but
are you trying to imply they're going backwards?
That is a clever thing that I definitely did on purpose. But it's so weird. Because Microsoft are saying essentially about the Xbox Series X, they're saying, look, we've got this new console coming. It's the most powerful thing, and you don't need to buy it. And it's like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, everything's available on Game Pass. Everything that we're showing, you can play on Xbox One, I think, for at least the first couple of years. Well, you're shaking your head, but they said that they have gone backwards and forwards, saying that all of their games will be cross-platform, as in cross-generation,
So
for.
the ones which have been labelled with smart delivery, which a few of the ones in that conference were.
I just think it's very confusing. I think the marketing is all over the place.
Do you know what it is?
Go on.
It's a Wii U.
Yes. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that comparison, but
It's the Wii U.
you might
It's
be dead right.
It's a. Is the Xbox Series X a new console, or is it just another Xbox One X or Xbox One S? You know, the general consumer might not be 100% certain. I know I'm not.
I'm not.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. There is a new console called the Xbox Series X. Great, but you're right. Are these titles going to be on
Xbox One? Are
Xbox
they going to
One,
be
or are they
on?
going to be on Series X? Are you going to be able to stream them through xCloud on your Xbox One?
If I have an Xbox One, is the only thing making me upgrade prettier graphics and higher
Higher frame
resolutions,
rates.
higher frame rates? Like for the average
But
consumer, that won't be
if that
enough.
is the case, what's the difference between the Series X and the Xbox One X then?
Yeah, it's just another incremental upgrade, surely.
But then again, when they announced the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S, that's what they were saying about. They were talking about they were you know, alluding to a mobile phone style release schedule where
Hmm.
you get a new iPhone every year. So is that going to happen? Is the Xbox Series X going to be followed by the Xbox Series X2, or
I think it's just all over the place, and for
will they just
as consumer friendly as they're being, and as much as I love the things that Phil Spencer is saying, all of our games are going to be on Game Pass for a monthly fee. You're going to be able to play everything here. We've got these 15 studios all working on some great titles. We hope.
Yep.
As much as they're saying that, there's nothing in this that makes me say, right, I want an Xbox. It might make me say, right, I'll subscribe to Game Pass, which.
Oh, there was nothing shown that made me go, I want an Xbox because I've got a PC.
Yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, there's a it's mumbled marketing.
Whereas Sony,
I do wonder if maybe they're trying to please too many people with too many things.
yeah, that's what I think. So I've just got our show structure document for Sony up, and they opened with GTA 5, which is for their PS5 reveal. Um, they opened with GTA 5, which was disappointing, but that was kind of like almost like a pre-show moment for me. Let's say they opened with Spider-Man Miles Morales, and it's something we didn't know was coming. It was a complete surprise, and it's a game that I'm now excited to play. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, same thing. You know, of course a new of course a new Ratchet and Clank was coming, but it's just nice to see it confirmed and have it there. Stray, Sackboy, all titles that. Stray looks good, doesn't it? But
I just want to be that cat with the backpack.
all titles that make me go, yeah, yeah. PS5 has got a good lineup that I can only play there.
So this is interesting because this sort of leans on what I was tempted to do with what I suggested to you earlier in the week, which was you didn't make notes on the conference itself whilst it was going on, whilst I did, and I suggested tentatively, hey, maybe I do everything and you say what you remember about each of the titles.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going through these titles for the PlayStation event, and I can clearly picture them in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
If in a month's time we go back to the Xbox event, how many of those titles are you going to remember by name? Are you going to be able to say, "Oh yeah, I remember Stray, that game with the cat and the backpack"?
Mm-hmm. For me, the big one.
If I say the medium, are you going to remember that the medium is the really cool one that you saw?
You know what?
If I say the gunk, are you going to remember Luigi's Mansion?
Just on title alone, no. The medium was the showstopper for me. Was the one where I was like, right, so this should be their big game that they're really pushing. Kena Bridge of Spirits for me for PS5. Remember that?
Yeah.
I just watched that trailer.
Amazing.
I just showed that trailer to one of my friends yesterday, and she loved it. And so so do I watching it back. And there's just more of an idea. There's more.
What is it called? Fucking Bug Flex or whatever it is.
Bug Snacks.
Bug Snacks. There we go.
Oh my god, the internet went crazy for Bug Snacks.
Just the fact that it just started off so wholesome and then it ended up just being weird and fucking dark.
Yeah, like body horror or like cartoonish body horror. They even had, and it's obviously going to be multi-platform, but they had the Resident Evil 8 announcement. They had that Deathloop game from Bethesda, from the Dishonored developers.
Yeah, so
Horizon 2. Even just the name Horizon 2 is coming. It's just all so promising, and Xbox is just like,
these are the games you can only play on Xbox.
Yeah. And Xbox is just like, opens up with Halo Infinite, which we all knew was coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Sony won E3 this year.
Yeah. Nintendo haven't showed up.
There we go. We can put an official stamp on it.
an official VG&C stamp.
Yep. There we go. We'll mock up some sort of trophy that we can send Sony.
Let's do it.
Let's totally do it.
You know what? Should we actually do it?
No, because it's going to be like those really terrible drawings on Reddit of gold.
Yeah, it is.
Here we go. You get Reddit silver.
Reddit bronze.
Here you go. You get the Video Games and Chill Award for Best E3 Conference in a non-E3 year. Although, to be fair, come the end of the year, we will have to do an awards show.
Oh, we will. Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully by that point, we've actually got to the point where we're actually pretty good at this. Or at least not a shit.
We're getting there. We've got a new overlay. That's a good start.
We do. We've got the videos in the doobity-doo, which is probably either blank now or no longer there.
What do you think of the new branding?
I have no idea because I haven't fucking seen it.
I've sent it to you on WhatsApp.
Yeah. I really like it. I like this bit here.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like the way my name is said.
Yeah.
The size of the boxes. It feels like a little bit claustrophobic, but it's fine.
We're trapped in this little area.
Yeah. Hopefully next time we'll have an intro and some theme song. Maybe. I know I promised that last time, but you should see the concept art that I did. It was awful. But I get the feeling that I'm actually warming towards it, and I'm actually tempted to just go full on with that style.
Yeah, why not?
Because it's shit. That's the why not.
That why not was rhetorical, Dan. You didn't need to put yourself down like that.
I wasn't putting myself down. I was being honest. So I believe that's us done for this week, isn't it?
It certainly is. What have you got coming up for the next couple of weeks, Dan? Anything interesting?
I am potentially going to start playing games on Xbox Game Pass, depending on what they are and how quickly they download. Between now and the next episode, I believe Horizon Zero Dawn is out on PC, so I will probably be playing that for a fair bit. And you can catch my stream at twitch.tv/Samuel Carmody, because I never stream.
Fantastic. Thanks for the plug. I'm going to be continuing my Paper Mario Origami King journey on twitch.tv/Samuel Carmody, which should be a lot of fun. I usually do
He's also turned on VODs now, so if you miss one, you can go and watch the VOD for at least 15 days after his broadcast.
You certainly can. Thank you again for the plug. And you can find all of the rest of my content at samuelcarmody.co.uk, which the link will be down there. But for now, this has been Video Games and Chill.
Yep, I would like to just finish by saying thank you to our sponsors, Generic H Pencils. They are good for drawing maps for your Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Thank you, Generic H Pencils.
And thank you, Reggie, for watching this shit show yet again. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See you later.
Good night.